Welcome to the Wheel of Prog.
All right,
Yay.
Welcome to a very special Wheel of Prog, our first of 2025. And if you noticed, I have a guest at Prog Report headquarters. Vic is here with me.
Hey, everybody.
Which is very cool.
Dear
And
Olympic,
we have
an
Dan
unmarked
and
location.
Kyle
Congratulations,
and
guys.
Nick. And what we're going to do here today, somebody had the idea, I forget who it was, that it might be fun to do a wheel where we take all the albums that were in the S tier and do one with all of those. Probably the most impossible challenge of any of these wheels we've ever done. So we've done about 17 episodes, including the Wheel of Rock ones. We didn't take all the S tier albums because obviously there's like 3 or 4 in each of those, but we took the top album from every episode, and we are going to rank those between S, A, B, C, and D.
This is kind of
in the most impossible thing we've ever done.
It's kind of a recap episode because we're going to be remembering moments from those podcasts, which you can then watch again if you want to.
Correct.
Anyways,
I mean, you could do that. Are people rewatching these episodes? I mean, is that a thing? I feel like I record them and then I never watch them. So heaven forbid rewatch them.
This is a great way of building up.
Yeah.
I mean, so rewatching it, I'd love to know. That's amazing.
We have Dan, Kyle, and Nick, Vic, and myself. So there's 5 of us. We added 3 wild cards. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the wheel so we can
bring up the wheel.
This massive wheel.
So
we have 20 spins, so we're each going to do 4. A bit confusing because we're in the same screen, but we'll figure it out.
Well, I think the order should be Nick, me, Vic, Roy, and then Kyle. Is that it?
Why do you want to do this to me?
That'll be the order.
Nick wins by seniority. So.
Oh Lord, help me!
We got to preface it by saying that this is going to be impossible. And
no idea where anything should be ranked. Oh well, there you go.
Oh, yes.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, there you go.
All right.
Get a big fat
Easy,
pitch
right?
over the plate.
Yes, close to the edge.
All right, close to the edge.
Okay, so I'm not going to mess around with this one. Obviously, it's the S tier of S tiers.
Nah.
I mean, there's no doubt about that. It's possibly the greatest prog rock album ever recorded. So this is easy. Nobody's going to deny it. Nobody's going to fight with me. Nobody's going to argue. This is the Prog Report. How can we have close to the edge anywhere but in the S tier of S tiers? Just think back to when it was recorded or when it was released. It was just mammoth. It was groundbreaking. It changed the music industry forever, and it's deservedly in the S tier as far as I'm concerned. Come on, fight me, boys. Fight me.
So who would not put this there?
Me. Because that's the thing I'm saying. Like, are we doing this by the importance of the album or on our own personal preference? Because I'm doing it on my personal preference, and it's on B tier.
Same.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that goes into every one of these wheel episodes, right? Some of us do it by what we think the overall general importance is of things, and then some of us do it by our own personal. There's no right or wrong. It's just how you
also
decide.
can we just say that there are classic rock albums on this? There's like Metallica and Van Halen. There's sort of like whatever you want to classify them as, like Queen and ELO. There's Pink Floyd, which is sort of like outside of genre in a sense, but it's prog. So like to me, there are no rules. There's nothing that absolutely deserves a spot in S. For me, I've got it in B, which is that's awful. But I mean, I had to rank the albums based on what I thought about them, and I don't want to just arbitrarily put something in S because I think it's supposed to be there. But
and it's like comparing apples to oranges, right? It's so this stuff is so different.
To me, there are 2 albums on here that had to be an S. This is one of them, and not by my personal preference, but it's one of 2 albums that I think have to be an S. So Nick, I think you did the right thing.
Well, then if it's not your personal preference, then why? Like, I don't care.
I think if I'm thinking of prog and rock and what we
music, just rock music.
This is the album that is why a lot of the music we do exist. Like
This
exists.
album is a game changer. This album is a genre like cementing album.
Yeah, I totally agree. And
But
the
still,
others
I would
aren't.
rather listen to
And the others
Fear of a
aren't.
Blank Planet, for example.
I would
Anyways.
argue that some of them are not as they're great. They're not as important if we're going by
Okay.
that.
Well,
But
I'm
okay,
not.
let's see.
But that's the thing.
All right, Dan, let's see what
Dan,
We have fun with
Dan,
this.
the podcast.
Let's hope you
man.
don't get a wild card, because otherwise I'm putting it in D out of spite.
Dan, you look like you work at Scoops Ahoy.
Oh,
By
here
the
we
way.
go. All right.
Well,
All right, hold on a second. I have to hold up Roy because I think what's coming is
I
going to be
mean,
blasphemous.
I would
children today
assume-
don't know of things.
I would
Don't let him
assume
do it,
This is
Roy.
selling
It is
it
his
by the
choice.
pound.
I would assume Selling England is the other album Roy would put in S. Is that
It's
correct,
not.
Roy?
I
It's
know for
not,
a fact
okay.
it's not.
All right. It is in my A tier. Okay.
Okay.
I love this album. I'm not a huge Genesis guy. But this is one of the most striking ones to me. It makes sense. I'm younger, so I would prefer the more modern stuff. But I had done my research in the past, and Genesis was a band that, out of like the big three, let's say in the '70s, it's probably my favorite. So I do like this album much better than Close to the Edge, and it was in my A tier because I like it, not because I think it's in the Hall of Fame or anything. It's just that's where it stands. We have four albums on S and four on A. This would probably be my seventh or eighth on that tier overall. So, well, that's where it goes.
One of the difficult things is the fact that this album made it to this list when I think a lot of us would have been fine if it was Foxtrot. That's where I was sort of split between the two. I find myself being more towards Foxtrot, but yeah, it's curious, Nick. If it was Foxtrot, would that change your mind about anything? What's your opinion on that?
Well, what about the
Me?
Lamb Lies
No.
Down? I expected it would be that. So
That's another one.
Lamb was in the A
Yeah.
tier on the Genesis podcast.
Yep.
I'm glad I didn't watch that one.
Foxtrot would not have made S tier for me. Foxtrot would have been
Oh, wow.
an A or a
Okay.
B.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like I got this one. I don't think there's any Genesis album that would made S tier for me.
Oh,
Um,
Foxtrot would have for me for sure.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, but like I love this album.
Same.
Fourth or fifth, Cinema Show, right? It's
Right,
also, like,
Dan, I'm
absolute
impressed.
classics.
I'll take A tier.
The battle.
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Epping Forest.
There you go, man.
All right.
I'm not disappointing you
Vic.
yet, but it's coming.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
there's
went
going to be a
well.
lot of moving around, or I just have a very different thought on these albums. So,
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Where am
Get
I?
up
Vic
there.
on ELO.
Oh.
who is this?
Is this
for?
our
Yellow out of
first
the
D
blue.
tier?
Gosh, and I'm in the same room with this
Yeah,
guy.
he-
He's not gonna like this.
Yeah, he said that.
Oh
He
yeah, I know
is-
where Vic's putting it.
He's not gonna like this.
Oh my goodness.
I personally I love this album. I have it on vinyl. It's a classic album. In this grand tier of things, it's a D tier.
Oh,
yeah.
I feel like Kyle Fagala. I have put something
so
that
proud
is
of you.
amazingly classic. In my grand scheme of things, in thinking of how I rank things, I don't know if I consider this a game changer. It's a terrific album. But as far as the bands that we follow, that we listen to and everything else, perhaps a Beatles album would have been higher up, because this is kind of along that same sort of, rock pop vein. It's an excellent album. I love it. But in this list, it was I'm terribly sorry.
Right, but somehow Metallica will be ranked really high.
Well,
Or Van Halen.
as it should be.
I'm the metal
Listen,
guy.
Yeah,
I will
this is
say that
absolutely not a
I'm
D
one of
tier.
those-
This is a straight S or A tier album, all time classic. But that's
I'm
I
one of those
know.
guys who
I know. I
didn't-
would be in
who
the
didn't
minority.
grow up. I didn't grow up with ELO at all. Somehow it just flew under the radar for us. And while we were listening to Genesis and Yes and Emerson, Lake and Palmer and PFM, and it just flew under the radar. So actually, the first time that I gave it a proper listen was in the lead up to this podcast. And you know what? With fresh ears, Roy, sorry to tell you, it's a B. For me.
It's a B.
I mean, B I'll take in this podcast. B is
like not bad at all on this.
Yeah,
list
yeah,
album.
B is good.
B is
Can we
ridiculous.
Can I just take just 30 seconds to just say this out loud? Every album on this is a game changer. That's why they were the top pick of a Wheel of Prog or Wheel of Rock that we did. They're all S tier albums. So it's silly to act like, well, this is not a game. Well, of course it's a game changer. It's a game changer for, you know, all sorts of breeds of art rock and progressive pop. And I mean, it's massively important. The production of it is incredible. For me, if I'm listening to this album, there are songs that I think are absolutely incredible, but there's a lot of what feels like filler to me. It's all recorded well. It all sounds great. I love the sound of progressive pop, as it were, and it is very Beatles-esque, and, you know, I love it. But it is uneven. It's 70 minutes, and it feels like it would be better if it had been carved down to 43 minutes or something like that. Like, take the best of it. Feels overlong to me. So it's probably C tier for me relative to this overall list, which is crazy because I listen to the ELO a lot, but
yeah, you know, it's all
good.
Sold
10 million albums. They're not hurting. Jeff Lynne still gets to score this stuff, so they're fine.
Correct. All right, let's see what I get.
I'm looking for sharp objects to make sure.
Roy's getting metallic. I'm feeling it.
I can't believe Vic got to be the
man. Am I going to get a wild card? All right.
Now you cannot.
ELO
cards on first round.
Touche.
There we go.
I thought no wild cards were allowed in the first round.
That's right. We said no, right?
Yeah. Re-rolling.
Okay, let's see what we got.
Come on, Roie.
Oh, wow.
What is it? Snow?
Snow.
Spock's Beard Snow. Man.
Don't do it, Roy. Don't do it, buddy.
You know what to do.
This is tough.
Put it way up there.
This is a really tough one because
there, please.
My personal, it's top 5 album on this list, maybe.
Yeah. So yeah.
Whoa.
But I don't think it's in its overall importance of the albums on this list.
It doesn't matter.
What are we
nearly
ranking
that
here?
high.
Am I ranking this for other people? I'm ranking this for me.
Wow.
Yep.
No, I'm ranking this properly.
Properly? What is that supposed to mean? What is a rank list supposed to be otherwise for other people?
In the people want to know what you think, Roy.
Music and Earth.
He said it's top 5.
Spock's Beard is not above the majority of these albums.
Wow.
What?
Well,
okay.
I disagree.
Most people don't know this band exists.
So
who cares?
Really
I don't get that.
Is Snow your top Spock's album?
Maybe
it
not.
has to be said that most people don't know that Prog exists, to be honest.
Yeah.
True.
It's all relative.
They know ELO out of the blue, but that's besides the point. All right, I'm gonna put it in B.
No way, dude.
That's where I have it.
Oh,
that's where I have it.
Ouch.
It is one of my all-time favorite albums, and I have it in A. I mean, B is fine. I mean, I don't feel like there's like necessarily a wrong answer because all these albums are great.
I don't think it's an S or A tier album based on this list here. I just.
But you're basing it on like importance and legacy and some other things and like awareness in that. How in the heck do we approach it that way? I don't get that.
That's how I'm approaching it. I don't think that's.
Like, if that's the way, like Dark Side has to be the undisputed number 1.
Yeah, let's just go by how many albums they sold. All right, so we got Dark Side, we got Master of Puppets.
Plus, I think Dark Side is awesome anyway. So
it is, dude. But yeah, I don't know. I would rather listen to Snow. That's Daniel Levitt for you.
Yeah,
very interesting.
I'm not surprised at that. That's
very quizzical. Okay,
I don't know why my approach is confusing.
Because I don't feel like it's been your approach on other Wheels of Prog.
Oh, no, it has.
It has.
I think it has. I would agree with that. He does he does a good job in his personal lists are totally different than the tiers that have come out, and he does explain.
That's why he's bothered that we like Falling to Infinity.
Correct. Yeah. That's one of my main arguments. Can we? Okay. All right.
Moving on.
Kyle.
Moving on.
Yeah. Moving on.
I like Falling to Infinity. I'm going to rank it. I don't care what other people think.
No wild card.
Yeah.
No wild card.
I'm with you, dude.
No wild card. No wild card.
Wild card's not valid. Reroll.
Keep spinning.
Man, I really hope I got that Flower Kings album.
Gee, I wonder where that would go.
Talk about the odd man out in this list. Goodness gracious.
No, well, it's not D tier for me.
Spinning the wheel.
Oh boy.
What was it?
All right,
Face
so
warning?
the
Face
theme,
warning
the
parallels.
theme and your title will continue according to this. Congratulations.
I have this mug. Let me overthink about it, and it's so poetically perfect that I would get Fate's Warning, because if there's any album on this list that has no place being in this collective list, no offense, and maybe a little bit of offense intended, put Fate's Warning in
Totally.
B here. It's completely out of its league here. This is like a high school team going up against, like, you know, the dream team or something. Like, no. So, Vic, I would like for you to say
Kyle
20
Graves
seconds
would put it
about
in S tier if he was doing this.
Probably.
List.
Sure. Which is
Dude,
his
I'll
right.
be
That's why we
honest.
do these. That's why we have different like points of view. I would assume Vic would put in like A tier or something.
I think that based on, but see, your comment is exactly what I was saying. That
Which
this
is fine.
album it's the equivalent of a Spock's Beard Snow in the universe of these albums.
Okay.
That's
I'm ranking Fates where I'm ranking it because it does not do anything for me. I accept that it has been influential, but in the greater context of all these albums, it's not up to snuff. I mean, it's not on that same level. But if Vic got this album, I would expect he would put it in A, probably. And that's great. And I would be doing everything in my power to move it down.
So here's the thing.
I think you're right, because this is not actually the best Fates album, in my opinion. I think
it is.
I think Shade of Grey is better. But, you know,
Shade of Grey
it is what it is.
So
does it really belong on this list, though, is the question. I got to say, I agree with Kyle.
So
Sure
I got to stand up with my Fates brothers, with Jeff Wagner, shout out to you, with Cal Graves, shout out to you. Absolutely, this album belongs here. This band deserves the recognition.
In the D tier. I agree.
Some people would argue that this would be along the lines, or the album that should be here is Awaken the Guardian. That's more metal. A lot of people think that that's their top. As far as for what we're doing here, this album absolutely belongs here. Now, personally, I have it at B. I have it equivalent to Snow, because I also have Snow at B. So I'm not the, Fates is tops of it. Fates is awesome, deserves to be on this list. This album is excellent. I think in the grand scheme of things, B is absolutely fine. Not in D. So,
I can't wait to see what you'd put below it. Like that's where it's like all fascinating to me.
You already know one that I put below it.
No, I know one. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
All right. I love this.
So now we're instituting the wild cards. We have 3 wild cards. So who knows what's going to happen?
Who knows?
Nick, you're up.
Let's mess it up.
Look, Nick agreed with me, so I'm good.
Empath.
Wild cards are on. Let's see. There you go, Nick.
Oh,
Van Halen.
Thank goodness Nick
I know
got
he
it.
loves this one. All right. So
not the
A
Van
Wheel of
Hagar.
Prog featuring Van Halen.
All right. It's one of my favorite albums. I'm not going to lie about that. And it's one of the most important albums, to your point, Roy, that's ever been recorded. So, I mean, how could it be any lower than an A at worst? Really? I mean, if we're taking a sort of a general, yeah, I mean, if we're taking a general sort of rock and prog point of view, I mean, I think it deserves to be an A or B at worst. So for now,
I like B better.
For now, all right. Let me go with Danny and stick it in B for now, but I might bump it up later.
You might not get to. What do you?
Yeah, you might not get to. Yep. But that's
Nick,
cool. He said it, not me.
Well, he did completely guide his decision. Go ahead, Vic. Sorry.
You're talking about an album, a game changer. This album is the ultimate game changer when it comes to electric guitar as we know it. For me, S tier all the way, even on this list.
I think I'd have to say I think it's an S tier also.
I have it right at the border of S and A, and it just depends on. Look, I mean, I have argued with Roie just for fun, but there is some element of like what's most important, what's most noteworthy for me. Like what's a perfect album, like from start to finish, no skips, like it flows well. Like this album is perfect from start to finish. It is noteworthy, and I love it. So it's like for me, it's got to be S or A. It just feels out of place because it is a rock album, not a prog album.
Totally.
For me, the problem with the album is consistency. It's not consistently brilliant all the way through. It has these peaks of utter brilliance, But there are some points in it that, whilst I won't call them low points, there are some points on it that could have been reworked. I think so not the perfect.
Like David Lee Roth being in it.
No, he's great on it.
No, he's great.
I really am interested. I'm not trying to call you out here, but like, what song on here do you not think is great? Like Feel Your Love Tonight, Little Dreamer, maybe. Like
Little Dreamer doesn't really hit the peaks for me.
Okay.
I love Jamie's Crying, which most people don't, which is weird.
I love Jamie's Crying.
Is great. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Most people have a go at me because I love Jamie's Crying so much. But
no,
I think there are better.
Huge hit here.
Yeah. Was it?
All right, Dan.
Oh yeah, give me Devin Townsend, please.
Oh my goodness.
Now that's
man.
Almost. Okay. What am I getting?
Woo!
Oh, Flower Kings.
Is it
Well,
Flower
this is
Kings?
interesting.
Well,
This will be good.
I'll be honest.
Flower Kings Unfold the Future.
I like this album much better than Van Halen. That's me.
What?
But it's still going on C tier. That's the best I can do, honestly. Lots of great albums here. I think Unfold the Future it would be my first or second Flower Kings album. I love Flower Kings. I'm kind of in a hiatus with them. Haven't listened to them in a while. The old formula got kind of tired, but this album is still a classic. Truth Will Set You Free, Devil's Playground. You have Daniel Gildenlow, so there's a little bit of Pain of Salvation in that, which bumps it up for me. I think I'm being very courteous to put it in C, because I could put it higher, but I know I'm in the minority here with my tastes. I think C is good.
I think it's good. Good placement.
Yeah, C is good. As long as I get
I was
to
confused
rank.
by C.
Yeah, I'm just confused by how everyone's taking this, and it's fine. I don't even now. I'm like questioning. Well, how did I rank them? I tried to rank what I thought was right. I don't know, but it turns out.
Me too, dude. The thing is, like, my D tier. Two of them have already. One of them on my D tier is on D tier. The other is on B. And my other D tier is still out there, and I'm gonna destroy it later, hopefully.
So
You had Van Halen in D. That's wild.
Yeah. I don't care about it at all.
Wow.
So,
See?
The most historic electric guitar album is in D in this list for Daniel. That's amazing.
Yeah, sorry.
Are
I'm
you
a
up
guitar
now,
player, by
Vic?
the way. Yeah.
It's me. Oh boy.
Oh, here we go. Everybody's getting their favorite bands.
Yeah, kind of.
Kansas,
Weird.
Point of No Return.
Kansas, waving the flag for American prog back in the 70s. Just cut to the chase. It's an A tier.
Good.
It's again, Point of No Return or Left Overture, which should have been here. Either one, I still think they would have landed an A for me. But of course, in this album, having something as historic for them as Dust in the Wind, but yet having, Point of No Return and, just the portrait and He Knew and all that stuff is just, it's a great album from beginning to end. I am very happy I got to pick it in A. Is there much of an argument there from anybody?
No.
It's more of a B tier for me, just in the broader context of all these options. And again, that's sort of a personal thing. I probably I don't feel an obligation to these classic prog bands and albums to the degree that maybe other people do, which I respect all that. It's just like, I listened through this album. There are high points, and to me, there's some low point filler moments.
Wow.
Yeah. I prefer Left Overture, and, but A tier is sensible from a guy that loves Kansas. I respect that pick. I'm not mad about it. I mean, how could you be mad about Kansas getting ranked on a prog podcast? It's great.
Yeah. We are the Prog Report.
No, it's a great album.
All right, moving on. That was quick and sweet.
Yep.
Dust in the Wind is an all-time song.
Roy's getting Scenes from a Memory. I'm feeling it.
Roy's getting wild card.
I am getting
All right.
wild card. So I'm gonna get a wild card.
ELO is moving.
All right.
Well,
let's
should it
see.
though? Should it?
Let me see if there's anything else. Yes, ELO's
You
moving.
sh-
I'm
Oh,
moving it
man.
to, so I can just move it up one, right? That's what we're doing with wild cards.
I would say you can put it
I'd move it
wherever.
You
wherever
can
you
move
want.
it anywhere you
Right.
want. Anywhere at this
Let's
stage.
do everywhere. It is a wild
Just be
card.
weird.
All right.
Get weird with
So
it,
I'm
Roy.
gonna put it in B. I think that's proper. I think that's proper
I'm
ranking.
proud of
putting it
you,
in B.
dude.
Okay. All right.
That
so
shows
B is
real
not full.
restraint, Roy. Real restraint, buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's
Proud of you.
personally. Well,
It
now,
sold
I'm not a
more.
crazy
It sold
person.
more copies than some of those other albums, so it had to come up.
Correct.
so question. So
Rolling
personally-
Stone would have ranked it higher than Flower King, so we got to move that up. So
personally, where would you rank this album in your personal vinyl?
Out of these 17 albums, I can't, man. I probably a top 5 out of these 17 albums.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what number exactly, but it's
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on.
Okay.
moving on up.
All right, back to you, Nick.
Let's go.
Wait,
Fagala.
me,
Oh wait,
right?
Kyle.
Fagala.
Kyle.
I got to stop disagreeing with Roy, or he's going to take my picks away.
Oh, well,
Oh, yes.
There you go.
Oh, easy.
Everybody's sort of getting the albums they
This
like.
is weird.
Yes.
Yeah. All
Dream
right.
Theater Scenes from Memory.
Yeah.
Come on, Kyle.
Yeah, I wonder where
Come
this
on.
is going.
Undoubtedly. Well, it's not really all that recognized in the market, and so I just don't know that I can put it anywhere
Shut
above
up,
B.
dude.
There's so many people that don't even know this album. No, for me, this is without a doubt top 3 album of all time for me. On a personal level, it was my entry point to modern prog. I love it. I could listen to this over and over and over. It's a perfect theme album. It's got my favorite drummer on it. When we got to see it in concert, when they played these songs, I was like, man, these songs are so good. So yeah, it's an S tier album for sure. Perhaps the easiest one on this entire list to grade for me.
I agree.
Okay. I mean, I'm not
Good
surprised
job,
by that
Kyle.
pick, and I don't think it's a bad placement. If you wanted to argue, it should be an A or B because it's not as well known and came sort of later. I wouldn't argue with you either on that basis. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wouldn't
So I just
either.
think-
It's just not how I approach it, right? It's
Right.
because that's an impossible standard. That's like with ranking films or cinema or whatever. Like I love movies and films, but like sometimes it's like, you got to have The Godfather at 1. It's like, well, I don't enjoy it as much as fill in the blank, you know?
So
Right.
I have a question because why was this the Dream Theater album as opposed to Images and Words? Because Images and Words is also
Because
a
we
mammoth
said
album.
so.
Well, but this was the one that was just when we did the podcast.
Because
It
we
ended up in
messed
the
it
first
up.
slot on S tier.
We
That's just
didn't.
what-
Okay, fair enough. Just
Well, for
curious
what it's
about
worth, if Images and Words had been on here, it would also be in the S tier. But both of those albums, Falling to
Correct. There you
Infinity, A tier, but the rest S tier.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's
All
awesome.
right.
Thank you
All
for
right.
that.
Cool. Listen, there's no right or wrong.
Where
on
would
this.
you
This is just
put
fun-
Parasomnia
fun
here,
stuff.
Kyle?
I don't know. It's not out yet.
Who's up?
Okay.
That's Nick. Oh boy.
Oh, Nick's an interesting one to get Master Puppets, I feel.
What do we got there?
Metallica Master of Puppets.
Oh man, if I do a Roy here, it's going in S tier. But if I do a Nick or a Danny or a Kyle here, it's possibly going in B or C. Dude,
No,
I don't want to
it would
get
be
killed.
an A.
Really?
but how do
No,
you
I think he's just
personally
saying
feel
if it
about
goes
this
by his
album?
personal taste. Yeah.
Yeah, look. While everybody was going through a death metal phase, this is possibly the most important death metal album of all time.
Thrash
because it
metal.
really
Thrash
kicked off
metal.
Slayer, thrash metal, and it kicked off Slayer and all the rest of them. And I guess for importance, you've got to give it the nod. But do I listen to it? No, not a whole heap. So I guess I'm going to have to stick it in A for now. Just simply because it was such a
or you can
such
put
a
it in
game
B
changer.
and bump ELO down. That's what I would do. I'm influencing Nick.
You're being a puppet master.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I'm the kind of guy who listens to the Black Album more than Master of Puppets. Okay, so if it's going personal, it's going to go a little bit down in the list. But
I have learned something new about Prog Nick
Listen,
today.
you can put it in C too if you want. This
Put it
again,
where
we're
you
not
want.
saying.
Where are you going, Nick?
No. I think it belongs in. I think it belongs in B, guys.
Okay. So
B,
then
okay.
what changes will you make? Will you move Van Halen
Well,
up?
we're allowed 4 in B, right?
No, it's 3.
No,
but
I
you can
think-
change one of those.
I think it's unethical to move something I just moved via wild card. Nick.
Nope.
I didn't
Nope.
know
It's
ethics
a
applied.
bad look.
Now,
Wait
in
a second,
fairness,
wait a second.
Roy,
Wait,
he could move
on,
Snow
hold
or
on.
Van Halen up.
No.
Well, he
Now,
put,
yeah.
he put
Can
Van
I?
Halen.
Can
He
I?
put Van Halen
Okay,
there.
guys.
You can
Okay,
do
guys.
whatever you
Then Van Halen one is going up,
want.
and
Put it there.
You put it.
and
You put
Master
it
of Puppets goes in there. Yeah.
He could change his mind.
I know.
Yeah.
It's great.
Come
I
on,
love it.
which of the two was the more important album, right?
Master
Van
of
Halen.
Puppets.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Van Halen.
I mean, that's okay.
This is so funny. All right. Who's up now?
I don't care about the world. I only care
Daniel.
about me.
Dan, are you
and
up?
it's my turn. Let's do
Okay.
it. Give me Devin Townsend. I want to destroy him.
We love you, Devo.
Oh,
No.
this is such a funny one for Daniel to get. This is great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right, Daniel.
well,
Daniel,
see
no,
where you put
no
this
pressure, Daniel.
All right, hold
but,
on. Let's announce it. Opeth, Blackwater Park.
Daniel, no pressure. All of us are counting on you. Let's go.
it's an A tier. I don't care.
Wah, wah.
Okay.
Silence. Yeah. Well,
You-
what I'll defend about this album is that this album created a whole new soundscape. You know, Opeth was already good before Blackwater Park. I prefer Still Life, the album that came before. But Blackwater Park is such a classic, and it marries like the death metal and the acoustic-y, melodramatic, depressing side of things and the proggy stuff so well. It was an instant classic the moment it came out. It was also the first one that marked the relationship between Opeth's Michael Akerfeld and Steven Wilson, which was a relationship that made a lot of the classic albums of the 2000s. So I think this album is really important in many ways, both to Opeth as well as to Porcupine Tree and Steven Wilson and the whole soundscape and in the genre, you know. So I think this album is borderline S tier for me, and like we have Snow in B. I should be putting it in S because it would be there for me. But I'll be generous and do it in A, and you guys can figure it out later with your wild cards and stuff. But
I think it's
that's
good.
where I
Good
would put
spot
it for
for
sure.
me. I don't
Yeah.
have an issue with it.
I'm good with that. Nice job, Daniel.
There you go.
I'm not. I'm only good with it from the standpoint that it was your choice. In this list, yeah, no.
Well, give me Opeth over Yes
Big
anytime.
Give
you're
me
up.
that.
I'll take it.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
This
I get
is a
that,
great
and
one.
that,
This is
in
a-
my opinion, is
No,
how
but-
you should rank it, Daniel. And then it's up to the rest of us to fix it.
Fear.
Oh, so close.
Fear. Okay.
I hope I don't get
S
wild
tier.
card again.
S tier.
Porcupine Tree, Fear of a Blank Planet.
This is a tough one for me.
Yeah, it's tough.
This is a tough one for me because on my list of things, it goes into the C tier.
Ugh.
Just in the spectrum of things as to again thinking of the historical influences that it has. I think they have a different album that I thought was more impactful. Although this album is
In
great from
absentia.
beginning to end. This album is great from beginning to end, and just that is where I had it. I'm not too upset about the stuff that's above it here. So again, I'm sitting in this guy's house, and I know that he's a big fan of this band. And
You like Yellow over
Well-
it?
No, I'll say that I don't disagree with you putting it in C. It's not even my favorite Porcupine Tree album. And I don't know. I don't think it's an S or an A. I could argue maybe B, but I don't think it's an S or an A album with these other albums on here.
yeah.
It's a great album, and you know, it's a Gavin Harrison masterclass in anesthetize. But yeah, it has to be said that I don't know how this is on this list as opposed to In Absentia,
I agree.
which
Me too.
to me is the better album, and the
Agreed.
one that changed it all. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it belongs
We
there. Maybe
should
at the
just
top,
switch it up and put In Absentia
Too late.
there and just throw it in S tier. You know, I don't care.
Vic, I love agreeing with Vic. He put something in D tier. He's now ranked Porcupine Tree in the same tier that I would, which again, the context of this list, this is
Amen.
It's an S tier album otherwise, but it's C tier for me. In Absentia would be up a little higher, but it's a great album. Okay. It's a little dull to me as an album. The back half of it especially, and then the opening track is unbelievably good. So,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think it's weird. My turn. I feel like I'm getting another wild card. I already got a wild card. If I get wild card again, can I respin?
No, you won't get a wild card.
Oh, good. I like that you're getting
Queen.
Oh, here we go.
Interesting one.
Queen
I
Night
like
at the
this
Opera.
album a lot.
So I think that I had two albums that I said had to be an S tier. This would probably be the third album that I think had to be an S tier.
Wow. Okay.
So, yeah, that's just everything about it is groundbreaking, all time. It's to this day one of the most listened to albums by people. The memorable songs, hits, proggy stuff, poppy stuff. It has everything. I don't think you can beat it.
No argument.
Yeah, fair enough.
It has a great song.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an incredible album. I love the way the songs blend together. I love the sort of musical concept, thematic concept of it. It has a good eclectic mix of songs that are from a broad spectrum of like genres, and they're all great. And Freddie Mercury's the greatest singer of all time, and it just sounds great.
After Kyle Graves.
Yeah. Well, except for Kyle Graves. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had this in the context of this greater list in A, but I'm happy with it in S. It's like,
yeah, I also had it in
Kyle.
That's why I was happy you got it, because
Dan, is this a D tier for you?
C.
No, I would say C, solid C.
Wow. Yeah.
And I like Queen. I like this album, but
I love the album.
As I said, I'm doing personal.
And the only spots left are like B, C, and are like C and D.
That's what I figured would happen, dude. That's what you do when you have 17 S tiers, I mean, sorry, 16.
Honestly, the list so far is pretty good. I'm like relatively happy. There's a couple major blind spots that I hope to fix.
No.
Okay.
The dream is dead.
I mean, I think he's putting it in the same place you were going to put it.
Hopefully, Kyle, please, man.
Where else would one put it? And let me just say, I'm not the world's biggest fan of Devin Townsend. We sort of joke about that. It started on the Progressive Nation at Sea Cruise when he got up and did a Dream Theater cover and sort of made a joke of it. I didn't like it. And I know that was like supposed to be a joke, but I didn't like it. He ruined a Falling to Infinity song, and I'll never forgive him. Okay. He's very talented. I like about 10% of what he does. He's a genius. I bet if we had a beer together, we'd love each other's company. At least I would love his. I don't know. But in the context of this list, it has no place here, in my opinion. This is my favorite Devin Townsend album. Okay. But it is a D tier album.
Yeah, the dream is alive, baby. Woo! My job here is done.
It's a brilliant masterpiece of an album.
You guys are so rough. I mean, I think, unfortunately, you may be correct, because I don't know how you put it above some of these other albums. As awesome as I think this album is, and I love this album.
I actually have it on my C tier, but I'm putting it in D just to make Daniel happy. So
thank you, man. I really appreciate it. I hope you have
because I want people some ability to move some stuff around, because I don't think.
Because I think
Flower
just
King
to remind people sitting halfway through this, or as we're getting to the end of the podcast, the reason why the wheel becomes challenging and the way it is because we put limits on the rows. If we didn't put limits on this, we'd have maybe 8 albums in S, 6 more in A, and a couple in B, and that would be you know what I mean?
And Pat would still be in D tier. Yeah, I agree.
And Kyle would still put Fate's Warning in F. So
no, I honestly don't have it in D tier because there's 3 albums that I think are less deserving. I do, in fairness, in the modern, really modern prog space, this is a game changer of an album. It's a masterpiece. It sounds amazing. It has some of my favorite songs of the last few years, and I don't like this style of music, so that's saying something. But like up against, Metallica and Queen and Yes,
in every normal world, the bottom three albums still left. I'm sorry, the last three albums are all S.
Oh, of
S
course.
of the S tier.
Yeah, it's gonna get weird.
So I don't know what happens now. Okay.
Well,
Nick, let's see.
Nick, whatever comes in, Nick's putting it in S.
Yeah, he
So
loves
yeah,
it.
he gets a-
I love the D tier. Nick loves the S tier.
Wild card. Wild card.
Wild
Okay.
card, yes. Woo.
Okay,
Gotta
gentlemen.
take wild card, Nick. All right.
I'm afraid.
He's gonna put Van
You can
Halen back
move-
in B.
And you can move anything.
I'm
wherever you
afraid. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm afraid that I have to take Selling England by the Pound into S tier, and I have to bump Scenes down. Into
Wait.
No, you don't need to.
S-
There's 4 in
want.
there.
You don't need to bump scenes.
S tier has 4, so there's still room for.
Wait, hold on. I just want to understand what you're doing here, because if you fill S, there's still 3 more on the bottom that need somewhere to
Right.
go, and you're filling
Make it
S with an
interesting,
album
right?
that's already an A.
Oh,
Is that what you're doing?
How
I
can
kinda wanna
anybody
get up.
deny? How can anybody deny that Genesis's greatest album should be an S on this list? It has to be.
Well, it
So
turns out this isn't their greatest album, so yeah.
So
Well, it is.
So hold on, really a strategic thing. So Nick, are you moving Selling by the Pound to S, or are you moving Scenes from a Memory to A to then move Selling in England by the Pound to S? Because that's a big difference.
Same result.
No,
Not
because
the
one of
same
them will
result.
leave us.
Yeah.
No, one of them will leave us.
I mean, I don't think Scenes is Dream Theater's greatest album. I think Images is. So I think
Okay.
it belongs in
So
A,
that's what he's
and I
doing.
think
He's
Genesis
moving
Selling England by the
Scenes
Pound
down.
belongs in S.
And bumping this up. Okay.
Yep.
fine.
I hate
Got it.
absolutely everything about this. So that's
I
okay.
agree.
I
feel
love
like
everything.
I feel like
about
we
this.
went easy on Selling England by the Pound. To be honest, it does not hold up by my
What?
standard. I understand.
Sacrilege.
No, it's a
No, yeah, no,
masterpiece.
Philistines. Yeah, no, I get it. It's an uneven album. There are some really boring, dull parts on it, and there's some great stuff. But from just a pure let's compare it to Yes for what it's worth. Similar era. Yes, to me, still sounds great. Sounds exciting. Cuts through better. I mean, it's all personal preference, but and I think Close to the Edge is the more definitive classic album from Yes, where I would argue that Selling England by the Pound probably isn't. I think it's Lamb Lies Down.
Wow.
Or if y'all like Foxtrot, sure.
I don't know.
But
It's
the
hard
fact
for
that
me.
there isn't a
I
clear
love
choice-
Selling England by the Pound so much. I have no issues with it being at S, but I was okay with A also, either way. All right, Dan.
Give me Whirlwind.
Dan better hope he gets the Whirlwind, I guess, which he's not
No.
going to.
Better.
He's gonna
Look at these
get-
3 albums left, and we have a full S tier. This is ridiculous. Oh, Daniel doesn't need to
Okay.
get this. He doesn't know what to do
You
with
know
it.
what? Let him do this, because one of us is going to fix this,
Right,
whatever
exactly.
he does anyway.
Exactly.
Pink
Exactly.
Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon.
Exactly.
I don't even know what I want to do, dude. Ah.
This is fun.
This is great. This
Uh,
is great.
I know what I want to do. I decided,
Oh, boy.
but I don't know. I decided, but I still don't know. I'll put it in A tier, and I'll put Scenes
Right.
back in S.
Oh,
That's what I'll do.
okay. Okay.
That's ridiculous.
Oh boy.
I-
Okay.
Well, I wanted to have either Whirlwind or Scenes in S. This is how I can
This is
achieve
how I
at
win.
least one of them. This is how I have a little bit of a participation.
like-
Dark Side of the Moon is a great album. I'll always defend it. I don't never go back to it because it's the thing that Roie says about Images and Words. You've listened to it so many times. It's kind of a classic. Everyone knows it. You just don't go back to it. And that's the thing for me. But also because it's not on my taste that much. I would rather listen to a whole bunch of other albums rather than this. I'm not even sure it would make my top 10 on this list. And I know
in terms
that's
of
crazy.
importance.
No, in terms
if
of
we're going by
importance,
importance, then it's right up there. But you know, it's not Pink Floyd's best album. It's not even their second best album. I think Wish You Were Here is
Wow.
better. and I
Except
think
that
Animals
it is
Oh
their
my
best
goodness.
album.
Wow.
I mean,
well,
That's
yeah. So if you
subjective
go
at
by
best.
importance,
Wish You Were Here is better.
if you go by
And
importance,
in my opinion,
definitely
Animals
S
as well.
tier.
No.
in my list it's on B, and I'm okay with it being.
This was
in
the
A,
other album
so,
that
you
I
know.
think had to be an S. This and Close to the Edge were the two S tier albums.
I don't really understand how this isn't an S tier album. But if you don't like it and that's how you're viewing it, totally.
No, I do like it.
Well, not
just
as much as the others.
In my right mind, I cannot put this ahead of Scenes for me. You know, I would.
Well, couldn't
I
you
will
have
never
moved
listen to
Genesis
it over
down and put
Scenes.
it in S tier? I mean, I guess you couldn't. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's
right.
just that had to be
we
my
have
play.
3 spins.
Oh boy. And I'm next.
You got a lot of work to do.
All right.
All right.
You got a lot of work to do. I see Opeth.
Victor up.
If you
Yeah,
see
Opeth's too
the
high.
meme of the soldiers in a line and there's one of them's a clown, they talk about
It's a wild
that's
card.
Opeth right now. No offense. I know people love Opeth, but
Opeth's wild
Come
card for Vic. Opeth is too high. I think that's the one. I think.
Well, he will say it.
yeah, let Vic make his. Yeah, whatever.
Oh gosh.
I don't know.
Vic
What
probably
you did.
doesn't like that
Attention.
Queen is an S, but I mean,
what are the two that are left? The two that are left.
Moving
Whirlwind-
pictures.
Whirlwind
oh,
and
Whirlwind and
Pictures.
moving pictures. Yeah,
Dang.
neither of which have any place in C or D tier.
No.
Yep.
Like not even
No,
close.
absolutely not.
So
Well, you say absolutely
I
not,
would-
but you had a chance to fix some of that.
do I?
I have to go last. I'm not going to be able to fix any of this.
But ELO in D tier.
No.
Oh boy.
There's better options.
Get Opeth out of there, dude. Come on, I dare
Opeth
you.
needs to be out of A.
Ah,
Yeah, but what?
I'm hoping
Nothing.
It
You
just
don't get to
stays
play.
in there
You're
somehow.
just moving something.
Yeah, you're just moving something. You're taking any album and moving it where you want it.
Correct. And if I move it to a place where the tier is full, then the album has to move.
Then you get to
someplace
move.
else.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I could strategically get 2 moves out of this.
Yes.
Dan, you did an excellent job in representing Opeth and giving them a brief moment in the A tier. I
Wait.
am moving them down to the B tier
Okay, I'll
Correct.
take it.
Yeah.
because I still
As
think,
long as you don't move Spocks.
and I think that, you know, if there is an album on this list that I would move into A tier or possibly even higher, because this is just probably a
Master.
top 2 album for me. Exactly. Master Puppets up to A.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean
didn't
that's a fine
expect that.
move, but it doesn't
Okay.
help us.
Yeah, it doesn't help at all.
It's I was trying to think
Nice.
I was trying to think of
I'm happy
Dark-
with it.
Dark
Yeah, I'm okay
Side
with it.
up to S, but then what do we move down? And I'm happier with it. As much of an Opeth fan as I am, and doing the Opeth wheel, you know, I'm happier with this
Okay.
position here. So moving on.
Wow. So Kyle, you and I have this is
I hope
Pretty
I
I'll
have.
say something.
I'm kind of sick to my stomach at where I have to put one of these. I'm not okay with it.
The Opeth Wheel of Prog is the most watched Wheel of Prog.
Yep.
So, you know.
uh-oh.
Oh man, I'm going to throw myself out of this window, and I'll be right back.
It's like the landing the whirlwind.
All
All
right.
he
So
did was he moved it down one tier. Big deal.
just remember what Dan did to Dark Side of the Moon.
No, yeah, I'm thinking Roie is going to destroy the whirlwind.
He's not as big a
Okay.
fan of it as we are.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Also, if you're Roy,
All right.
definitely
Boy, this is
Porcupine Tree is
really
too low
hard.
for him, but he can't change it.
No, I unfortunately with that move
This is
didn't
really
help
hard. I am gonna do.
He's doing B
All right,
tier.
I'm gonna do a domino effect, but as a result,
I get
at
it.
all. Okay.
I'm okay with it.
Okay,
It
so
will
we're
prohibit
already
me
going into
from
A.
doing this move.
Oh wow, A.
Metallica goes down to B, Opeth goes down to C. You're welcome very much. I don't know of another
Sweet.
option. That's the best I could do.
Yeah, this is right.
I don't think that's bad though. What I did.
I should be able to do like
I
a
like it.
massive domino
Okay.
effect.
All right,
change
All right, so
here.
wait, hold on. The obvious thing, Whirlwind, Dan's favorite album of all time. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. Great album. We are all humongous Neil fans. This is the highest ranked Neil album on this list so far. A is a little high for me, but I'm okay with it being there.
I could not put it in S with
No.
those other
Oh, no.
albums.
Oh no, it's yeah. I mean,
I'm okay with this. I got like scenes in Whirlwind in S and A, and I got Devin in D. I'm done. It's okay.
Man,
That's what I'm here for.
gosh.
We need to have Devin on the show and have Daniel
I mean-
interview him. I love
All
watching this spin. By the way,
Doc-
well played on the Superman logo. It's great.
You like that?
Yeah. I noticed that. Yeah.
All right.
You're gonna
right,
tell me if I'm
moving
breaking rules
pictures.
here, but I'm gonna do a
Last album.
massive domino effect here.
if
Okay.
you're going S tier,
There we go.
yeah,
Let's see.
there's gotta
Let's
be-
see what he does.
Yeah, I mean,
Don't do
this-
S tier, dude.
I'm gonna do what I want to do. Just
Okay.
so we're
Go
clear.
ahead.
All right. So for me, moving pictures is in my S tier. I love it. I wouldn't say it is a perfect album. There's, the second half is not as strong as the first half, but I watched them actually perform this on the Time Machine tour and did the whole thing, and it's great. I love Rush. It's hugely influential album. Blah 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 blah. It's in my S tier, so I'm gonna put it in S tier.
Oh boy.
Now
Here we go.
Okay.
I'm going full domino. This is great. Yeah.
Okay, Genesis is
All right,
down.
let's do it.
Queen.
Okay,
Let's
so
do it.
wait.
Queen.
What comes
Not
down?
Genesis, dude. Queen.
Who comes down? Who
Nick,
comes down?
Oh,
were
no,
you
he's gonna move
listening
yes
earlier?
now?
I love
Genesis.
Kyle's
Genesis.
never putting Queen down.
Yeah,
Genesis.
Genesis is just hold on to your butts real quick because Genesis is going down. Okay. All right.
And
You're
then it's
killing
going down
me.
Can
again.
Genesis go down again?
Wait, what?
Can Genesis go down again because it's a full?
No, that's not fair. No, Domino is another album.
Okay. All right. Well, then I hate it. Sorry, but it's got to be Kansas from that list.
Okay.
Oh my
No,
goodness!
dude. Van
After
Halen,
all that
dude, come
compliment
on.
and everything else.
No, I like
Fair.
it, but of those,
Terrible
if I
move.
can't move Queen down, okay. I mean, not Queen. Genesis.
So now ELO gets the schneid.
I'm sorry. Yes, ELO gets to move down. Sorry.
Okay.
And then Flower Kings ends up in the D tier where it belongs. This was great. I'm so glad I got to go last. I got
You
to
see, it was
almost-
good that you went last. It was,
It was
good for
great.
you.
I'm
the best.
okay with it, dude.
Okay.
Gosh.
I feel like
I
I
am
kind of
fine.
evened it out a little bit, right?
We basically got one classic rock album in each category, or sort of.
Yeah.
S tier is solid. Something feels weird. I feel like Genesis should be in S tier instead of Queen. Now that I'm looking at
Yeah.
it, but
Me too.
Depends on how you want to view it. Like,
it's fine.
if you're viewing this as a prog list, then yeah, sure. But I still stand on that it's not definitively Genesis' greatest album, which is a sign that it is not an S tier album as much as maybe some of the other ones are. The four albums
Night
at
at the
top-
Opera is Queen's best album. Moving Pictures is arguably Rush's best album.
there's arguments there. Close to
Yeah.
the Edge is definitively Yes's best, I would say. I mean, there's always going to be argumentation around that. Dream Theater, it's probably scenes, but it doesn't have to be.
Dark Side in A is ridiculous
It's
to me,
terrible.
but okay.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Well,
we could do.
I'm glad I could help, dudes. This was fun.
This is real fun.
I like that we got.
So wait, so now
either-
what we're gonna do?
Yeah,
we got to
put 'em in
order them.
You
No,
gotta
no,
order
not
them.
this. I was gonna say something else.
Oh,
One of the next ones we're gonna do is a Wheel of Prog with
On the
all the
D
D tier albums, which is gonna be way more fun.
it's the Wheel of Redemption. Yeah.
Let's rank it within tiers just for fun.
The Wheel of Gorp.
Do
Yeah.
these D tier make the new D tier
No.
podcast?
No.
No, these would wipe the floor. Well, not exactly.
Not
Well,
according to you.
Empath would still be D tier for me. Needless to say.
Hey, can we put them in order though? Is it okay to like try
How
to
do you put these in order? Like,
come
what,
upon a
how would
consensus?
you do
Like,
that?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
So
Well,
top row, I
Queen-
vote moving pictures going second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I
Queen should-
disagree.
probably be at the end?
Which one?
Yeah.
I
Queen.
mean, if we're going Prog, I guess.
I don't know. I mean, just based on what I'm
Yeah.
picking up from the rest of the crew.
Yeah,
That's
well,
right.
Genesis second row.
Dark
Genesis
Side
needs
should
to
move
be-
to the top.
Dark Side
Oh, I'm
first.
sorry, Dark Side's down there. So Dark
Dark
Side.
Whirlwind
Side,
then,
Genesis,
Whirlwind.
Whirlwind.
no,
Whirlwind-
Whirlwind. Gotta be
No.
number 2, dude.
No way. Whirlwind is
If
lucky
not,
to be
number,
an
if
A.
not number one, Danny. If not,
I
number
agree.
one.
I agree with Daniel.
No,
but
I agree, but I don't think I'm selling anyone on Whirlwind being over Dark Side of the Moon. I'm not crazy like that, but it gotta be over Genesis.
No, I don't.
I wouldn't agree.
No.
Well, it
Kyle
sounds like we're
agrees,
3 votes to
and
2.
Nick
Sorry,
agrees,
Nick.
so it's 3 against 2. So you guys lose. Yeah.
Okay.
But he's got
this
the
is
mouth.
my second favorite album of all time.
No,
I
Nick
don't
and
think
Kyle
mine-
think it should be over Genesis. So
What?
Wait,
should-
what did Nick
album?
say?
Yeah, I think it should be over Genesis. I'm
You had
silently.
you had Genesis and S.
Yeah.
I know, but I had no control over the Whirlwind placing, and Whirlwind to me is one of the top 5 albums of all time.
I mean,
think
I
it
don't
belongs in S.
I don't disagree. I have it in my S
No
tier.
sense, but that's
Wow.
fine.
It makes all the sense in the world to the 3 of us.
I can live with that. Yeah.
All right.
Fox, Metallica, Kansas.
You got to put Kansas. You gotta put
So
Metallica
no,
in.
Kansas is at the end for me.
Snow is third.
it was good to me like that. Like Snow, Metallica, and then Kansas. But
This is just now it's Roy's list. This is just Roy's list now.
I'm just doing it, and you tell me what you think.
Porcupine Tree should be at.
Empath's last. Empath is last.
No, it's not last. The last is
It
Fate's
is.
Warning
It
for
is.
sure.
Please, Kyle.
No, not Fates. Come on.
Porcupine Tree is the
Stop the
first in
Fate
C.
hate.
That's a great album.
Stop the Fate hate.
Opeth
All
goes
right.
to the end.
Good.
No. No.
Fine, I don't
I just want to point out here, and deservedly so, that Neil and Mike are on this list twice,
Yeah.
which is good.
Well,
Yeah, Dream
Yeah.
Theater, Transatlantic.
Well, Mike,
Spock's.
yeah.
also
Mike-
it's only because we did Wheel of Progs for all their
Mike and
bands.
Neil,
I
right.
mean,
Yeah.
there's notable bands. Oh, there's bands missing from this just only because we didn't do Wheel of Prague episodes on them. I don't want to get emails about where's Jethro Tull and where's Marillion. We didn't do Wheel of
Where's
Prague
the Beatles? There's a lot of bands.
The
Yeah.
Beatles one is coming soon.
I hope so. I just hope I'm on
We
it.
have a lot more coming and a lot more. So
Yeah.
anyway,
The Pain of
hope you
Salvation is
enjoyed
coming
this
this year as well.
train wreck.
This was complete and utter nonsense from beginning to end, the whole thing.
Well, I would
It
just
was a
say to
lot of
anyone
fun.
watching this annoyed, like you try it. Rank these albums. See how you would rank them. Good luck.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's super hard. Yeah.
Hey, Roy, real quick, can you just
Anyway, this was
move
a lot of fun.
Empath to last, just real quick?
I will not, just because you keep asking.
Oh.
Like I treat my children. No.
No.
Anyway,
Gabby knows best.
we have a lot of great stuff planned for 2025. So hopefully you'll stick with us for another great year. A lot of great albums coming down, more interviews, more reaction videos, all that kind of stuff. So we'll see everybody throughout the rest of the year. Guys, have a great rest of your day. See you later.
Salute.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Happy 2025.
Listen, think back to when it was released. It was just so momentous. It was so gargantuous. It was so
Ouch.
mammoth.
We cursed. What is going on? I think the gods of music don't want us doing this.
This
What are you
podcast
doing?
is not meant to be, boys.
That was my protest. I don't want Close to the Edge to be asked here.
Hey, thanks for checking out the podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on all our socials and progreport.com, and we'll see you all again real soon. Thanks.